Alright, we're going to go ahead and set up our split test pages by installing Google Optimizer. So I'm going to take you guys hand by hand straight through this process, step by step, so you can see exactly how easy it is to start split testing using Google Optimizer. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to our squeezepages.com admin dashboard. Now that we're in the dashboard, we're going to want to set up our split test pages. Now the split test pages in general, there's going to be multiple different variations of that split test pages. So you click on the split test setup at the very top, and I'm assuming that you've already set up your first squeeze page. So if you haven't yet, make sure you fill out all this information here where it says main page setup, and you've already filled out on the second tab at the top all the information in your squeeze page setup file. Okay, once you get that done, we're going to pop over here to our split test setup, and you're going to click on this. Now when you do that, you're going to want to clone this particular setup page. Now to make sure that you're in the right split test page, you want to make sure that this right here says split test 1 menu. Okay. Once you've done that, you're going to click on this big red button that says clone main page settings. When that comes back up, what that's done is it's taken your main page, your main squeeze page at the top, and you've actually cloned those settings completely. Alright, it's pretty easy to do that. Once you go to the next one, split test number 2, verify that you're on split test 2 by seeing what's up here at the top of the menu. Go ahead and hit that big red button again, and that will clone the menu settings for split test 2. And when you go to split test number 3, make sure, of course, that you're there, right here. Go ahead and hit those settings again, this clone main settings. Okay, after you've done that, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go ahead and customize these squeeze pages. Now, one of the keys to split testing is making very minute changes. If you start changing a bunch of stuff, you're not going to know which thing that changed actually increased or decreased your conversions, because there's a lot of different things. If you're going to make major changes like style changes, say for example you want to test your squeeze pages out against text-based squeeze pages, a video-based squeeze page, a fake video, and maybe a trying to think something else you can test it against. Maybe a fake download where it looks like they can download something but they can't actually get it. So what you're going to want to do is test those different variations out, and then the winner, the one that converts the best out of those, you're going to pick that particular one, and then you're going to split test variations of that. Then the winner on that one, you're going to split test the variations on that one as well. That's how you get down and really get super high converting squeeze pages. Or you can use the same thing on your sales pages as well, any landing page in all. So we're going to assume that you've already split tested deep variations of your squeeze pages. So we're going to get into minute changes. So now that we've actually have our squeeze page set up, and by the way, if you want to test and see what's actually showing up on your split test pages, you should. All right, and to do that, this is where you're going to go. Your first squeeze page, of course, is going to be at the place where you installed it. So if you go back to the dashboard here and click on General Site Settings, the URL in which you installed your squeeze page right here, you're going to go ahead and copy that. And we're going to go ahead and open up a new tab, and we're going to paste that in that tab that we have right there, and hit enter. So there we go. That's the actual first variation. We've copied all this information. So what we're going to do, we've identified in this one that the video squeeze page converted better than the text versus anything else. So what we're going to do is want to just make small changes to the actual headline. All right. So first thing I want to do is get rid of that. Well, I'm going to leave the exit pop because I think the exit pop will be good for us. So we go over here to our split test setup page and click on split test 1. And again, make sure that you're on split test 1. It'll say it right here, or it'll say over here in the menu. If you click on the split test or sp1.php file, a link I should say, that will pull up the actual split test page that you're going to be editing. What we're going to do then is jump back over to our index, well I should say our admin area, and we're going to go to our headline settings because that's what we're going to be split testing against. So what we're going to do at this point is make the change of discover the secrets of the master list builders to bring a flood of opt-in your landing page. Okay, so we're going to change this to, let's see, learn how to pack your list full of subscribers in under 24 hours. Okay. So that's all we're going to do. We're just going to change that one thing, hit the Save Settings button, and that will actually save settings for Sp1.php. So we go over to that split test. As you can see right now, it's showing the old headline. And I'm going to refresh this, and it's going to show the new headline. Go ahead and leave the page, and there we go. How to pack your list full of subscribers in under 24 hours. That's the first variation. Now we're going to want to go back over to our split test pages and hit split test 2 at the very top. And again, make sure that we're on the right page, split test 2 here. Then we're going to go into our headline settings, and we're going to make another change to that. So let's go ahead and change it against another version, which would be, let's see, who else wants a list of 123,456 subscribers in under 30 days. Okay, hit the Save Settings button, and then what we'll do is we'll actually click on this link at the top, the SP2, and that will open up a new window and show us that different variation, as you can see right there. So we go back to our admin area again for last time and click on split test 3. Now you don't have to split test a bunch of pages against each other. Right now we're running 4 different test pages against each other. You can just split 2 if you want, one against another. Not a big deal. We'll click on headline settings again, and we're going to say discover, okay, yeah, discover the magic phrase that brought in 132,000. Actually, I'm going to keep the same number, 123,456. That way, if I change that number, maybe later on I'll split test against that number and see if the number itself got me better subscribers. They brought in, whoops, B-R-O-U-G-S-T. Make sure you spell things right. Brought in 46 subscribers in less, capitalize that. Always capitalize your first letter of each word. Less than 30 days. And of course, check your spelling. Okay, hit the Save Settings button. Once that's saved, click on this link at the top just to preview changes, make sure everything looks good. Discover the magic phrase that brought in 123,456. Okay, what? So I forgot to put subscribers in there. So I got to go back there and change that. Go back to headline settings, inside of split test 2, subscribers. In less than, okay, save settings, go back over here to our split test one more time for split test 3, refresh, there we go. So basically what we're doing in this particular test is we're going to be split testing against these different variations. Okay, let me just, looks like my system is stuck here for just a moment. There we go. Finally popped up. Okay, so let me see, leave this page. All right, now everything come up okay. So we're going to want to just split test against these different variations. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we've got 4 different variations of headlines that we're going to split test against. Now that we have those, we're going to go over to Google, and we're going to go to the Google Optimizer. Now, inside of your Google account, underneath your products, you want to go to your products tab here. You may or may not see Website Optimizer. If you don't see it, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you're signed up for Webmaster Tools, and you should be able to find that somewhere in Google's arsenal. I don't remember how long it's been since I've been in Google Webmaster Tools, but if you click on this, there should be a link to one of these things here. Should be something like Webmaster Tools or something that you can use. Preferences, something to that effect. But you'll find it. If you need to, just go to YouTube and just type in how to get signed up for Webmaster Tools, and specifically Website Optimizer. So click on this link. It says Website Optimizer. This is an old Google account of mine, so this account's been canceled. However, we can go ahead and set up some split testing through this account. So you're going to want to click on the link here. It says create a new experiment. Okay, we're going to select the A/B experiment. That's the simplest way to start testing, as Google even says. Now you can read through each of these variations. Now they change a lot of things as far as how things are shown. I would recommend that you test very minute changes. And another thing that they mention here is very important. Generally, you should also have, for each conversion page that you try to test, you should have at least 100 people going to each of those pages. Otherwise, it's not really a good test. So if you've got 4 conversion pages, you probably need at least 400 people in traffic. I would recommend 1,000. If you get 1,000 people to your website and you've got 4 different conversion methods, you should be able to get a good idea of what's actually converting and what's not. Okay, be aware of that. You can't split test something and get good results if you've only gotten 10 people to your website. So next thing you're going to do is click on this checkbox and then click the create button. And we're going to create an experiment. And this experiment is going to be called the SP for squeeze page split test. You can change yours to whatever. Say you want to do, let's see, maybe you want to do dog training split test. You might have multiple niches that you're in. You might also have multiple squeeze pages you want to test against each other. And this is one of the ways you can do that. So you can create multiple experiments. So the first thing we're going to put in this URL is going to be the original URL. So going back to the page where we originally loaded this, and I'll pull this down so you guys can see it. We have our main page. This is where our squeeze page was installed. So I'm just going to copy this. We're going to go over to the Google Website Optimizer and paste that in there. And Google will actually tell us if it recognizes this or not. It'll give you a little checkbox. If it looks good, and if there's a yellow information sign, that means that there was a problem. Okay. So the next thing is variation number 1. So we jump over here to variation number 1, which we have right here. We're going to go ahead and copy this. Go to Website Optimizer, paste that. We're going to add a new variation, and we're going to go to our variation number 2, copy that, go back to Google, paste that, right, and then we're going to have variation number 3, and that would be right there. So we're going to copy and paste. So as you can see, we have actually 4 different variations we're going to be testing against each other. All right. So then you want to put your conversion page URL in. And once Google said that all these pages have been found and everything looks good, the conversion page URL you're going to want to check is going to be located on your thank you page. So wherever your actual thank you page is, or for example, if you want to test them all the way through the process of signing up, you can take them through to the download page if you want. But we're just going to set it up for the thank you page. So going back to the dashboard at the top, we go down to, where's the thank you page? Right here, thank you page settings. So what we're going to do is we're going to just click on this where it says click here to preview the thank you page, and we're going to grab this thanks.php page, copy that, go back to Google Website Optimizer and paste that into that area. Okay, and that should show up. Once it gives us a checkbox, we can go ahead and click the continue button. Let me just move this over so you guys can see a little bit better. Click the continue button in the bottom left-hand corner. That takes us to the next step. Okay. Now it's going to ask us to install and validate JavaScript tags. So you have the option of having your webmaster install the tags, or you're going to install the tags. So you should be comfortable with basic HTML. You don't need to worry about most of this stuff. This is really easy because we've made it super simple. So since you're going to do it, go ahead and click on that checkbox, or I should say the radio button. Then click continue.